The following events are documented through police reports, security logs, and eyewitness accounts. Some details may be disturbing. Before I get into this story, I need to address something. Over the past 3 months, I've been investigating a disappearance that local media barely covered. What I've uncovered through police reports, witness interviews, and security logs has kept me awake at night. I've spoken with Paul's family, former mall employees, and even the original construction workers. Some of this information has never been made public until now. The Riverside Mall opened its doors in 1987. For those unfamiliar with the area, it's one of those typical late 1980s structures, 3 floors of retail space, central atrium, food court. But it's the East Wing expansion from 1994 that interests us. Barrett & Sons Construction won the bid for this addition: 23 retail spaces, a secondary food court, and something that wasn't in the original plans. The construction itself was plagued with problems. 3 workers quit in the first week, citing strange measurements and impossible angles. The lead architect, James Barrett, became increasingly erratic during the project. His notes, which I've obtained, show normal architectural drawings gradually devolving into bizarre sketches of corridors that seem to loop impossibly. 3 weeks after completion, he checked himself into Riverside Mental Health Center, rambling about doors that shouldn't exist and reflections that don't match. The construction plans I've recovered show something particularly disturbing. The original blueprints for the East Wing don't match any standard architectural patterns. The angles of the corridors, when measured properly, seem to create impossible spaces, areas where the interior dimensions are larger than what's physically possible from the outside. 3 different surveyors refused to sign off on the final inspection, each one citing measurement inconsistencies in their reports. Barrett & Sons declared bankruptcy immediately after completion. Strangely, all their other projects were profitable. This was their only failure. This brings us to Paul Mitchell. At 23, he was like many of us, struggling with student loans from Riverside Community College, working to make ends meet. His sister Sarah showed me his room, still untouched since his disappearance. Criminal justice textbooks on the desk, a half-finished application for the police academy, and a photo of him with his German shepherd, Max. The dog still waits by the door every night at 10:30 p.m., when Paul used to leave for his shift. His college professors described him as methodical and rational. Dr. Sarah Chen, his criminal psychology instructor, told me Paul was the last person to imagine things. He was all about evidence, facts, documentation. If he reported something unusual, you can bet he triple-checked it first. His final paper, submitted just days before his disappearance, explored the psychology of unreliable witnesses. The irony isn't lost on anyone familiar with the case. The night security position at Riverside Mall seemed perfect: $19 an hour, full benefits, and quiet time to study. His TikTok from those months shows a typical college student making the best of night shifts. Videos of him exploring empty corridors, joking about liminal spaces, making coffee at his security desk. His last TikTok, posted just hours before his shift, shows him joking about the mall at night, day 89 of working nights, and I still haven't seen any ghosts. Kind of disappointed, to be honest. The comments section is now filled with theories about what happened next. His supervisor, Mike Thompson, described Paul as meticulous. I've seen his logbooks, detailed notes about every small incident, routine maintenance issues, even temperature changes. The week before his disappearance, he noted something odd: echoes in the East Wing that didn't match footstep patterns, cold spots not registered by the HVAC system. The mall's maintenance records from the week before showed another oddity. 3 separate contractors had been called to check the East Wing's electrical system. Each one reported the same issue: power readings showing usage in sections that were supposedly sealed off. The head electrician's notes indicate that the power seemed to be cycling through patterns that don't match any known building systems. The events of December 15, 2023, started normally enough. Paul's last Instagram story at 10:47 p.m. showed his usual setup: textbooks, coffee, and his laptop open to a criminal justice assignment. Security logs confirmed he did his first rounds at 11:15 p.m. Everything was routine until 2:15 a.m. The mall had recently upgraded to a Sentinel-7 security system. For those unfamiliar with security tech, these are top-of-the-line thermal monitoring, backup power, cellular connectivity. The system uses AI-powered motion detection and infrared mapping. According to the manufacturer, false readings are virtually impossible, making what happened next even more inexplicable. At 2:15 a.m., Paul made his first and only radio contact with Mike. "Hey Mike, getting some weird noises from the East Wing. Like metal scratching or something. Probably construction stuff settling, but protocol says I should check." Mike later told investigators Paul sounded annoyed, maybe even slightly amused. The system logs show what happened next. 2:27 a.m. unexpected temperature drop from 68 to 52 degrees Fahrenheit in East Wing. 2:28 a.m. motion sensor activation in sealed section. 2:29 a.m. second motion sensor activation from a different direction. 2:31 a.m. radio interference begins. 2:32 a.m. security cameras show visual artifacts. 2:34 a.m. complete system reboot. 2:35 a.m. system records 3 simultaneous motion detections in different locations. 2:36 a.m. all cameras in East Wing show only static. 2:37 a.m. final heat signature detected, then nothing. Paul's final radio transmission was broken but clear enough to transcribe. "Mike? You're breaking up. The lights aren't supposed to be on here. Wait, what is that? No. No, no, no." The 911 call from Mike came at 2:40 a.m. In the background, you can hear the mall's emergency alarms triggered by what the system logged as multiple simultaneous security breaches. Detective Sarah Martinez led the investigation. Her 47-page report, which I've reviewed extensively, reads more like a horror story than a police document. All exits remained locked from inside. Paul's coffee was still warm when found. His phone showed an unfinished text, "Something's wrong with the new section. The blueprints don't match what I'm seeing." The forensics team found several inexplicable details. One set of footprints in construction dust leading in, none coming out. A service door not shown on any blueprint, with metal composition not matching any known manufacturer. Paul's last phone photo showing a reflection that forensics can't explain. Thermal imaging showing 2 heat signatures in his final photo when he was alone. But here's where it gets even stranger. Last month, during routine maintenance, workers found something behind a wall panel, a security badge from 1994, belonging to David Cooper, another guard who disappeared that same year. That case was never publicized, but I found identical patterns: radio interference, temperature drops, unfinished messages about impossible architecture. Laboratory analysis of the badge revealed more questions than answers. The material composition matches security badges from 1994, but under UV light, it shows patterns typically associated with much newer manufacturing processes. The serial number, when cross-referenced with mall records, corresponds to a batch of badges that was supposedly destroyed in a small fire in 1995. Yet here it was, looking like it had been made yesterday. I've recently discovered similar incidents at 3 other malls built by Barrett and Sons before they went bankrupt. All involve security guards, all during renovation periods, all between 2 and 3 a.m. I'll be covering these cases in future episodes. The current night guard quit last week after finding Paul's badge in the East Wing corridor. The strange part? The badge looked brand new, yet tests confirm it's the original, showing no signs of aging or wear. Some questions remain that I hope you can help answer. Why did James Barrett's architectural drawings become increasingly distorted? Why do thermal cameras consistently show 2 heat signatures in Paul's last photo? Why has the mall rejected every renovation proposal for the East Wing since 1994? What explains the identical patterns between Paul's disappearance and David Cooper's case? If you're working night security, especially in buildings with recent renovations, check the original blueprints. And if you notice any discrepancies, doors that shouldn't be there, corridors that seem wrong, don't investigate alone. Paul did, and now he's become part of a pattern none of us understand yet. If you've experienced anything similar, especially in buildings with recent renovations or additions, leave your story in the comments. Sometimes architectural plans hide more than just poor construction decisions. This has been the Real Haunted Chronicles. New episodes every week.